And then Big Mouse is doing great. He's helping me out. MacSed in the upper left of merry-go-round. Excuse me. Did I say? Yeah. And puCK in the upper right. Looks like they switched colors since the last game. There. Okay. This map I particularly don't like in the mirror matchup aspect. Of course, we don't have a ZVZ happening right now, so I won't talk about that because... But I do know that one of the most hassling things is kind of defending this ramp. It's a little far away from the Nexus. You have to pull out, how do I say, it's a little bit far. Okay. puCK not doing anything too terribly risky, and it looks like you got the same play coming from MacSed as well. He's just trying to do this as conservatively as possible. The real question is when either or both of our players are going to go for the gas. Looks like we had a gas going down, and puCK immediately decides to scout his opponent. He's going for something super conservative. He's not trying to do what MacSed was doing game number 1 or game number 2 there. Certainly not trying to set his opponent back using a 3-gate or anything of that nature. Passes by the Zelnaga Watchtower, and he's going to go ahead and send that probe off in the correct direction to scout his opponent. But he's got the information he needs. He sees the probe moving out, and he's going to go. Cybernetic score going down at a perfectly normal time from both sides. A little bit faster for puCK than MacSed. He sees all of this. He sees everything that he needs to see. I would not be surprised to see a proxy coming from MacSed, but time being, there we go. I think he knows it's going to be. I think he knows what it is going to be, but I mean, MacSed's played mind games before. puCK scouting that second gateway, he only knows that there's only 2 gateways. Put it that way for the time being. Knows how it's being made, so I mean, this looks strongly like it's going to be a 3-gate forward pressure, perhaps escalating into a 4-gate. But looks like puCK has the intentions of going defensive yet again, trying to defend his main ramp. He's also chrono boosting out his mothership core. Same coming from MacSed at the present. Nothing but stalkers in the mix for MacSed. He could just simply giving off the air that he's going to go all in with this, and then taking an expo, putting himself just a little bit ahead there. But then that would result in an immediate reaction from puCK being forced to essentially do something to destroy his opponent. But doing something, he hasn't pulled this probe back home. MacSed actually going for the Twilight Council in the background. All right, not bad. And more sentries on the way coming from puCK. He wants to go defensive with this, but I mean, sentries, if we see his opponent get any vision of the high ground, there could just be a big, massive blink into the main, and then puCK's basically done for. More gateways going down just a little bit late. Stargate here as well. I really think we could see, I think puCK is kind of in a situation that's not all that pretty. I don't want to say it's totally bad, but I feel like given the present situation that we have at hand, it's not in his favor. I've been wrong before, and maybe he can do something to turn this around and pull out a win. Right, so there we go. Not mistaken, I just heard the Chinese caster say that, yeah, there we go. MacSed saw the he saw the Stargate. They're in the room right next to me, so that's how I'm able to hear them. Don't worry, the players are actually very far away from us. I can't hear the casters at all, so MacSed gets no unfair advantage. No unfair advantage because they're able to hear audible Mandarin. The production here is pretty okay, pretty solid, but I mean, you guys should really see the audience out front here. That's amazing. All right. 3 gates in a robo. I'm a little bit surprised at the decision to go robo because based on the fact that he's actually already scouted the Stargate. Because typically speaking, I mean, if you just look at it from a standard Freudian metagame point of view, anything that comes out of a Robo is going to get toasted by anything that comes out of a Stargate, basically. But he could be thinking about the late game. He could be thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go Blink Stalkers, then I'm going to follow it up with, say, Archons and Immortals, that kind of thing. Second Void Ray now on the way from MacSed, and I think we might see a third or fourth one coming down as well. But I mean, with a high enough Stalker count, I mean the Void Ray count could be totally nullified. It kind of scales off in favor of Stalkers as you are increasing the number of both units, if that makes sense. Okay, so Twilight Council now going down for puCK in the background as well. And it looks like MacSed is just parked right outside of his opponent's natural. It's good to go. But, oh boy, there we go. He blinks back all of the injured Stalkers. No prismatic alignment just yet. He sees that they can blink, so he wants to make sure that he only activates that only under the biggest mistake pretenses, if that makes sense. Okay. In the background, the Oracle has arrived at the natural, getting 2 workers killed, focusing down the sentry. The sentry. I like that idea. Took the Guardian Shield off of it, and I mean, sentries cost a lot in the way of gas. We're talking about a tier 1 unit that costs 100 gas. You don't want to lose those. So precious towards the mid game to some extent, but once Archons are out on the field, basically, I wouldn't say they become dead weight, but I mean, the Guardian Shield is still somewhat effective. Natural now on the way from puCK, and this game is making its way to the mid game. Game all-ins, like that. Robo finally going down for puCK in the background, and still trying to figure out what we have coming from the Robo. There's a Dark Shrine coming down from our blue Protoss, hailing from Wuhan, I believe. He hasn't made anything from the Robo, save for 1 or 2 observers that might have been sniped. Okay, Void Rays now increasing in count. Robo's done. Dark Shrine still on the way from Huxiang, aka MacSed. And it's going to be spotted. It's going to be spotted. It's just been spotted by the Oracle. Wondering if he's clicked on it or not, but the Oracle has been totally sacked at this point. Safest thing to make, definitely an observer. In the background, 4 workers did fall, and that just slightly puts puCK, you know, he's still a little bit behind, if that makes sense. Slightly. Okay, so now it looks like MacSed's moving out, and I think he has the intention of using DTs in the background as well. Just look at that. He saw the observer just now, if I'm not mistaken, and there's actually 2 observers going to be right next to each other here, because, well, 2's better than 1. Sure, why not? It was a joke. Scouting Phoenix coming in from puCK as well. He's basically gotten to read into this the way he needs to read into it. Alright. I really feel like this is a fight that might not end that well for MacSed, but I mean, focusing down the Void Rays would definitely be priority number 1, because it's situational whether or not they do any damage. He's going to go into the main here. He's going to see the Mothership Core and everything else that we have coming from puCK. But I mean, other than this, the supply is relatively even. puCK is getting his first Immortals into the mix, just first few, actually his second one rather. I'm a bit shocked. I'm really appalled that we actually see MacSed not really using that Robo at all. He's got a ton of Blink Stalkers. He's not making anything that's, you know, effectively speaking, going to help him out. But it looks like he might be switching into a Charge Lot Archon composition. He is going for charge. He's getting +1 attacks. I would say that by the time he throws down the 3rd, he'll throw down a Templar Archives. That's something that puCK already has, and he's researching Storm. It can be, I guess you'd say, okay versus Blink Stalkers. But I mean, at the same time, Stalkers can just blink out of it. Conversely, if they blink onto your army, well, that's where they're in a lot of trouble. Alright, so 3 more gateways getting tacked on. puCK needs to, I guess he realizes he needs to control his macro. and that's what he's going to be doing with this. And he's going for charge a little bit later than that of MacSed. Templar Archives on the way as well for our blue Protoss. This is a game that's carrying itself into the 15-minute mark. This is a game where both players are trying to play as carefully as they possibly can. MacSed's getting his third base. He's trying to keep his opponent from taking a third himself. And he's scouting with DT. That's something that he always does. But it looks like... I don't think he's going to see this probe. Wait. Okay, well... Hold on. I mean, he's sending the DT all around the map to scout. But, yeah, he's not going to see this probe. Not based on the route that it's going to be taking right now with this DT anyway. Okay, so he sees the third here. Question is, what does he do here in this situation? He moves out. Alright. But that's a ton of Archons that we already see MacSed with at home. The question is, what will the Storms do, if anything, to those guys? They don't really stack in the way of damage, so that means if you put 2 Storms down in the same exact location, it's only going to do the same amount of damage that 1 Storm would do. Just, I guess you could say a little bit more knowledge for you guys who are like in Silver League, Bronze League. Right, so DT is trying to swipe away at that Immortal. There is detection here. What on earth is puCK doing right now? I mean, he had an observer. He just didn't want to do anything about it. Okay, I guess he's taking a third. Alright, that's it. I was initially wrong with my assessment. Alright, so Charge Lot Archon Immortal versus Charge Lot Archon Stalker can be highly situational. The question is, I think, in this situation, how well spread out are the Immortals and how quickly can they get rid of these units like Zealots and Stalkers? The real question is, I mean, like, how quickly will the Stalkers dissipate? Because I think they'll be sacked immediately to try and destroy the Immortals. puCK already moving out. He's getting... Both sides are getting closer to 200-200, as you can plainly tell. puCK does not even start +2, and we don't have MacSed with +2 finish just yet either. Here we go. I don't know if this position isn't... Yeah, this isn't something that puCK wants to just attack into. He's eventually going to bait out an engagement from his opponent. The DT in the main going to try and work away at these pylons. And that's just, this is the worst part about it. This almost forces the engage. There we go. The Charge Lot's getting to a not so great position here from puCK. Meanwhile, Time Warp's coming down from both sides. The Archons lighting up all of those Zealots on the ground. Storm's going down in the background doing what damage the Archons cannot do. And that's just stacking it a little bit more. This is going surprisingly in favor of puCK, given the fact that he's actually under attack right now back at home. And the probes have been pulled just as the third base falls. MacSed is now looking like he could be down and out for the count very soon. He throws down his own Storms on the Immortals, and that's actually going to make the engagement a little bit easier if he can somehow engage them with these Charge Lots that are now warping in the background. It looks like, no, they simply evaporate on contact. The Void Rays coming in with the Prismatic Alignment, doing so much damage to all of these Stalkers. Only 55 army for our Invictus Gaming Protoss to the 131 supply of of puCK. This is the GG. And MacSed